What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're going to begin to look at the Horseman alternate costumes. X-23 will be the focus of the first video. We'll take a look at her skills, unlock her, and use her in PvP. So X-23 is the Horseman of War, and she has Warbringer as a passive. Just by getting this costume you can mimic World War Hulk and the Warbringer axe. This costume will grant Warbound to all your allies, so you're going to gain War Frenzy when attacked. This increases attack and accuracy. And it's an incredible buff. I'm sure many of you have faced a team with the axe or Hulk, and it's easy to notice that War Frenzy makes a huge difference in attack. And that's not to mention that she retains her original passives as well. Now, as far as her abilities, she does have some added benefits. Her level 1 Snicked now has Pain, so you can see right there her original costume does not add pain. Then her original Blades of Rage have just Bleeding, and now her new upgraded Horseman of War blades cause Ravaged and Pain as well, and that is on all enemies at once. Then her level 6 Made for Walking is absolutely incredible. That's because it now has Paragon Exploiter, and I think we all know how much damage Paragon Exploiter can add. Just think of characters like Captain Britain and Havoc. And by the way, those would be pretty good places to start for team-ups. Now this last ability kind of bothers me, because it says it's stealthy, but when you take her into combat it doesn't show up. I assume this is just a bug, and hopefully they fix it and add stealthy to this move. It definitely can come in extremely handy because it has Brutal Strike and Fatal Blow. But on the same note, her level 1 isn't showing something called Blind Rage. When you take her into combat, you'll notice Blind Rage on her level 1, and this says cannot use buff or defensive actions, and it's a psychic debuff. And by the way, this is incredible because it will stop a lot of those teams that have all those quick action items. And imagine someone like Rescue who can't use buff or defensive actions. That'll really shut her down. So X-23 as the Horseman of War is easily one of my favorite characters right now. And I did choose her in a Scrapper costume. You may have noticed I had about 189 CP, so I could roughly buy one costume for each. I plan on buying all the costumes by the end, but if you really want to choose one, I went with the Scrapper first. And that's for a few reasons, but I'll list the most important ones right now. 1. I like to get a character in something different from their default class. And 2. It's a good idea to go ahead and choose a class different from characters you plan on using them with. So I want to use her with Captain Britain, and he's already a bruiser. And I wanted to use the new empowered armor with the big and fast proc. So there you have it. That's the reason why I went with the Scrapper costume first. Now in this battle I'm using the Enchanted Crowbar, and it does place Exposed, Dizzy, and Slowed on the enemy. Not to mention Agent Venom also has an AoE attack which has pressure points, so I figured he would work pretty well with X-23, and with the Enchanted Crowbar. He is a level 9, so hopefully we will get to use Along Came a Venom. But that's easier said than done because he does pop in and out of control. Alright, but here's an early opportunity, so hopefully we do get a chance to use him. But never mind, we just killed their agent, so he's going to go right back. Now with our Horseman's turn, we're going to go ahead and use Blades of Rage. This is a pretty awesome AoE attack. It does a decent amount of damage, causes hemorrhaging, and puts Bleed, Pain, and Ravaged on the enemies. And there goes Agent Venom under control once again. So that's unfortunate. But we do get some Berserker Rage action. So both Deadpool and Quicksilver get hit once again. X-23 really can be deadly. She was pretty good before, but I just love the Horseman of War, especially because of Warbringer. Quicksilver is definitely a pain, but he's going to take a bunch of bleed damage. So every time he attacks, he's hurting himself. And as far as Deadpool, we do have our level 9, so that should deal with him. Remember, it has Brutal Strike and Fatal Blow. Oh, but first we are going to get an enchanted crowbar counterattack. So let's see how much damage this does. We have all our buffs, and it does a massive counter. And that wasn't even a critical hit. And now with Agent Venom, we do have our regular options, but I really wish he was in his more monstrous form. Oh well, I guess we'll go with the Bullet Blitz, and then we'll just try to set him up, but he's just going to die, so... And now we transform, and he's just going to die the bleeds. So anyways, moving on to our second battle. This one is going to include Havoc. So we're using Havoc and X-23, and my agent with a protect weapon, and he has his empowered bruiser armor with the big and fast empowered ISO 8. The actual name for it is Vengeful. We started out by using the Blades of Rage, so now they have that bleeding on them. But the damage was reduced slightly because of the Voodoo Staff. They have a Tactician Hulk, so I'm glad I have a Protector. Otherwise, Havoc would be getting hit pretty hard. And of course, multiple times. By the way, it appears they have War Frenzy as well. So let's hope that we don't get one-shotted or anything crazy by the Grey Hulk. Truthfully, I'm hoping for a Thunderclap, and that's exactly what he does. So good going, AI. And now it's going to be my agent's turn, and we do have some War Frenzy. First, I'm going to use my Empowered Armor ability, Short Fuse, and then the Scroll. So that's going to take away their War Frenzy. Next, it's going to be another quick action, the Neurotrope, and I'm always hoping to get strengthened from it. It would be especially nice if Havoc gained it. So there we see some of our buffs, and we did get strengthened. Now it's time to try to set up Havoc for that big hit. So let's use the Enchanted Crowbar on Deadpool. And our first Fighting Dirty proc from the Grey Hulk. So I really hate that, and it seems to proc all the time. And when I say that, I do think it's a pretty awesome costume. But unfortunately, the enemy has it. Okay, so this is working out pretty bad for us. We missed, got counterattacked, and then Hulk hit us as well. Now it's going to be Deadpool's turn, and he's probably going to use Bang Bang Bang. Whatever it is, my agent's going to protect, and things just went from bad to worse. We now have Buff Blocker on our agent, so that may be a problem. But hey, we did get a big and fast proc, and our Enchanted Crowbar counterattack. So our War Frenzy's gone, but then Enraged comes up. And it looks like we still did quite a bit of damage with that counter. So I will definitely take it. And now we're going to get our extra turn coming up as well. Now the interesting thing about Big and Fast is the fact that you'll gain an extra turn even between someone who has 2 turns. So if Quicksilver causes it to proc, you'll get a turn before he gets his second turn. At least that's what I've noticed. And truthfully, that's saved me a time or two already. And now since we used that extra turn to set up their agent, I'm going to try to channel my energy and then unleash Havoc upon him. So let's see what kind of damage we get. It looks like it's going to be massive. But Deadpool steps up and takes it instead, and we did over 345,000 damage. Sadly, Deadpool will resurrect. So yes, sometimes that type of attack can feel wasted on someone like Deadpool. But you know what, we're going to kill him with X-23 and our level 9 anyway. And now we have Sacrificial Strength, so hopefully if we make it to Havoc again, we can see another huge finisher from his level 2. The Horseman of War finished Deadpool, and now Thunderclap takes our agent down. We do have combat awareness, so we're going to get a counterattack from X-23 and then Havoc. So at least we have Grey Hulk in a position to be knocked out. Next up will be their agent, because mine's knocked out and Havoc is stunned. Kicks Like a Mule is the only drawback to using that level 2. Let's see if Agent Coulson has any heals up his sleeve. I really hope not, because if the Grey Hulk gets 2 turns, we may be in some serious danger. Instead, he gets a pretty weak hit on our X-23. So now we're going to go ahead and use our level 9 on the Hulk. Once again, I just want to make sure he's knocked out. I could use her level 6 and do some big damage, but instead we'll just assassinate him. And it's a good thing too, because he would hit us after. Oh wow. Okay, so we hit Havoc instead, and we did get hit. And that's all thanks to Fighting Dirty proccing Disoriented right before our attack. The good news is he did die to bleeds, and we're going to get to use our level 2 after all. So hopefully we get to finish this video on a high note. So here goes nothing, it's time for a level 2 Plasma Wave. And it does 408,000 damage. Now that's a finish. That's going to be the end of our first look at X-23, the Horseman of War. Next up will be Beast and Rogue in that order. And don't worry, you'll see plenty more of X-23 and all the Horseman ults all next week. It's going to be a Spec Ops 16 and Horseman extravaganza on the Kingfisher channel. So make sure you stay tuned for all those updates and videos. And the best way to do that is to go ahead and click subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and if you don't mind, please leave a like and a comment. And until next time, good luck, and take care.